Hello, today is March 1st, 2016. We are going to read the rest of Mark chapter 15. I believe just a few verses of Mark chapter 15 according to BibleGateway.com. And let me just switch the camera here for just a second. The verse of the day is, "But he knows the way that I take. When he has tested me, I will come forth as gold. My feet have closely followed his steps. I have kept to his way without turning aside." Job 23:10-11. We all know Job had the faith that could move mountains. He was a very, very faithful person. And I just pray that God gives me that kind of faith. Okay, so yesterday we read when Jesus was arrested, and so this is Peter disowns Jesus for the third time, and so the last verse 72, Mark 14 says, "Before the rooster crows twice, he will disown me 3 times," and he broke down and wept. And so Peter now realizes, because when Jesus told him that, he did not want to believe it. Okay, so this is Jesus before Pilate. Very early in the morning, this is Mark 15, verses 1 through 15. Very early in the morning, the chief priests with the elders, the teachers of the law, and the whole Sanhedrin made their plans. So they bound Jesus, led him away, and handed him over to Pilate. "Are you the king of Jews?" asked Pilate. "You have said so," Jesus replied. The chief priest accused him of many things. So again Pilate asked him, "Aren't you going to answer? See how many things they are accusing you of." But Jesus still made no reply, and Pilate was amazed. Now it is the custom at the festival to release a prisoner whom the people requested. A man called Barabbas was in prison with the instructionist who had committed murder in the uprising. The crowd came up and asked Pilate to do for them what he usually did. "Do you want to release to you the King of Jews? Do you want to release to me the King of Jews?" asked Pilate, knowing it was the sorry, this light's bothering me. So it says, this is verse 9 says, Do you want me to release to you the King of the Jews?" asked Pilate, knowing it was out of the self-interest that the chief priests had handed Jesus over to him. But the chief priests stirred up the crowd to have Pilate release Barabbas and said, "What shall I do then with the one you call the King of the Jews?" Pilate asked them. "Crucify him," they shouted. "Why, what crime has he committed?" asked Pilate. But they shouted all the louder, "Crucify him." Wanting to satisfy the crowd, Pilate released Barabbas to them. He had Jesus flogged and handed him over to be crucified. Okay, so just a little bit about Pontius Pilate. This is according to Wikipedia. I know it's not the best source, but just really quick, Pontius Pilate. I just want to see what they say about him. Okay. So Pontius Pilate was the fifth prefect of the Roman province of Judea from AD 26 to 36. He served under Emperor Tiberius and is best known from the biblical account of the trial of the crucifixion of Jesus. The sources for Pilate's life are an inscription known as the Pilate Stone, which confirms historically and established as a title as prefect a brief mention by Tacitus, Philo of Alexandria, Josephus, the four canonical Gospels, and the Gospel of Nicodemus, the Gospel of Marcion. The other apostle works. Based on these sources, it appears that Pilate was an equestrian of the Ponti family and succeeded Valerius Gratus as prefect of Judea in AD 26. Once in the post, he offended the religious sensibilities of the subject, leading to the harsh criticism of Philo Many decades later, according to Josephus, AD 93, Pilate was ordered back to Rome after harshly suppressing the Samaritan uprising, arriving just after the death of Tiberius, which occurred on 16 March AD 37. He was replaced by Marculus. In all four gospel accounts, Pilate lobbies for Jesus to be spared in his eventual fate of execution, and only when the crowd refuses to relent. So he only crucifies him when they refuse to relent. He thus seeks to avoid personal responsibility for the death of Jesus. In the Gospel of Matthew, Pilate washes his hands to show that he is not responsible for the execution of Jesus, and reluctantly sends him to death. The Gospel of Mark, depicting Jesus as the innocent of Pilate, plotting against the Roman Empire, portrays Pilate as reluctant to execute him. In the Gospel of Luke, Pilate not only agrees that Jesus did not conspire against Rome, but Herod Antipas and Tetrarch of Galilee also finds nothing treasonably wrong with Jesus' actions. In the Gospel of John, Pilate states, "I find no guilt in him," and he asks the Jews if Jesus should be released from custody. Scholars have long debated how to interpret Pilate's portrayal in the sources. The significance of Pilate's stone, an artifact discovered in 1961 that names Pontus Pilate, is similarly debated by scholars. Okay, I hope that was helpful, and please be blessed. And we will read the rest of Mark chapter 15 tomorrow, the New International Version according to BibleGateway.com. The soldiers mock Jesus, the crucifixion of Jesus, the death of Jesus, and the burial of Jesus. All right, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow.